Hello, good morning, and welcome to FPL Mate, your best mate for fantasy Premier League content for the 2023-24 season. My name is Dan, and apologies we're a little bit late. I forgot to click the live button, which obviously, as you guys know, not a morning person. Also, it's been 2 weeks since I last streamed. I didn't do a strategy stream this week, so it's actually been a little while since we last did a stream on this YouTube channel. But we are back, ready for the Gameweek 30 deadline. We're ready to go. I can see straight away that we got a new member of the channel already. Thank you very much, Sunil, for becoming a member of the channel. Also already put a poll up. You might have seen it already. Put a poll up. Make sure you're getting your votes in. Who is the best captain for Gameweek 30? So far, Salah is leading the way for the best captain for the game week, which I'm kind of surprised that he's winning this poll by so much. Expect to maybe see Son here a little bit more. But guys, a few members in the chat. I can see some messages already. Mark says, "Hey Dan, how are you, mate?" I'm all right. A little bit tired, as I often am, because inevitably I don't sleep before 2 a.m. every night, and definitely pay for that on the deadline days. Masood says, "Yo, missed you guys." Well, I missed you guys as well, Masood. Sue says, "Transfer out Foden or Saka for Salah." It's a really tough one, isn't it? A lot of people have asked about this, like selling a Saka or a Salah. I wonder if there's some way of doing a kind of Saka hokey-cokey in a way, whereby, because I'm guessing those wanting to sell Foden or Saka are doing so because they don't want to sell Son, I'm guessing. So I'm wondering if there's some kind of way to sell, particularly if you're not free hitting in 34, is there a way to sell Saka for Salah now and then sell Son back for Saka in game week 34, maybe for the double game week, and you just miss Saka entirely for this next period of games? Because to be honest, I know we see Saka as a pretty much essential player, but there are a lot of people going without Saka for this next run of 4 fixtures, particularly wildcarders who are free hitting in 34. Seeing a lot of them just going without Saka entirely, which I think is, I think it's fair enough, to be honest. So, yeah, I mean, the difficulty is Luton at home is a very nice game. I think that Aston Villa at home is a good game as well. Man City away, obviously, you'd be absolutely more than comfortable going into this game week without owning Saka. Brighton away, again, there are far worse game weeks to not own Saka. It's just that Luton game, isn't it? It's that Luton game that causes the issues. I don't think I would sell Foden, because I like Aston Villa, Crystal Palace and Luton. So I like all 3 of those fixtures for them. And also, if you're free hitting in 34, which I know many people are, Foden is a long-term hold, long-term keep. So I don't know. I really don't know what I want to suggest. I mean, guys, what do you think about selling the likes of Saka and Foden for Salah? Is it worth it? I think Salah is definitely a better option than those 2 players. But, you want to have those other players too, ideally. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, but you can't have them all. You can't have them all. It's really, really difficult. Adam says, "Hey Dan, how was your trip?" Yes, obviously went to Norway over the international break. That was, honestly, probably the best holiday of my life. I'm not even joking. It was really, really nice. I've never done anything like it before. Whenever I've gone on vacation in the past, it's always been to like a hot country or something like that. But this time was a little bit different. A little bit different. Just seeing a completely new world. Never been to a cold country or a very cold country before. Never been up a mountain before. Like, so many new first things. Never crossed a bridge that high, and never seen like the Northern Lights or anything like that. Yeah, no, it was a crazy, crazy good holiday. I really enjoyed it, and it's given me kind of maybe a new inspiration. Inspiration for traveling a little bit more. But anyway, back to FPL stuff. Frederick says, "Moreno, what is your thoughts?" I mean, he's maybe okay for this game week. He's not a player I would love to own, Frederick, really. He's probably the kind of player who would be getting sold pretty soon. Mark says, "Dan, is this worth it? Kudus to Palmer, Morris to Muniz, and Alanga to Salah for a -8. Ooh, I mean, it definitely improves your team. Definitely improves your team. For a -8, it depends. Is this a -8 to set your team up for the long term, or is this the next -8 in a long chain of -8s? Because I know some people take a big hit and it just sets themselves up for the rest of the season. Other people take a big -8 this week, and then not everything in my team is perfect. I'll take another -8 next week, and then another -8, another -8, another -8. So if this is a one-off -8 to set up your team for the long term, Mark, I would absolutely do something like that. It really improves your team and it sets you up for the long term. If this is going to be, this is your -8 for this week, and then next week you say, oh, okay, well, I don't actually particularly want Muniz for game week 31. I think I'll take another -8 to remove him for someone else, and you you start to find yourself getting into that pattern. Then I cannot recommend it. Yash says, why is no one talking about the bench boost in game week 34? By the way, good to see you back. Thank you very much, Yash. I think the big reason why Game Week 34 bench boost is not being spoken about is because it's for 90% of players, of FPL managers, it's just not possible to pull off. And the reason is, really, because Spurs... Can I get a calendar up or something? Let me find the calendar. And I can throw it on screen. Because I think that's probably the best way to kind of talk about this one. I've got some calendar on my laptop here, so I'm going to find it and I'm going to send it to myself. Please bear with me. And it is... Is it this graphic here? Yes, it is. Okay, let's move this file across. Because I think, yeah, if I have something on screen... Although, to be fair, actually, don't I have it on my drive somewhere? Yeah, I do. Hang on. Right. No, I've got a better idea. Because then we can edit it live. I have it on my Google Drive. Here we go. There we are. Right, let's zoom out a little bit here. Let's actually zoom in one more. Right, there you go. So, this is my this is what I work off when I'm doing my fixture predictions and stuff like that. It's worked out pretty well so far. This is why Game Week 34 free hit doesn't work for the vast majority of people. The reason is, if you want to set up a Game Week 34 bench boost, then what you need, really, is to wildcard around now. Probably. You would assume to set up a bench boost, because if you're not wildcarding now, then you're not gonna have triple Arsenal. You might have double. You're probably not gonna have any Bournemouth players unless you just used your free hit. And if you already used your free hit, then I don't know. Then there's maybe been a bit of mismanagement if you now need to wildcard after just free hitting as well. So yeah, maybe that's that situation there. You're not gonna have Crystal Palace or Everton players. You might have one Liverpool player at a push. More than likely, you don't have any Liverpool players right now. You're not going to have any Sheffield United. You're not going to have any Wolves other than maybe an injured He-Chan. So, going into Game Week 30, before you make your transfers, you're probably going to need to use a wild card in order to set up a bench boost in Game Week 34, because it's just too difficult to have 15 players from these teams to set up that nice bench boost in such a short period of time. You're not going to be able to do it. But if you do wild card, and then you try and bench boost in Game Week 34, that's great. You get your bench boost points. Probably players on your bench are going to be the likes of, maybe a Crystal Palace defender, an Everton defender, and maybe like a Sarabia or something like that. Which doesn't sound like the best bench boost in the world, but fine. That's kind of the bench boost we'd be looking at for Game Week 34. That is what it is. And some of you might say, okay, Crystal Palace defender and Everton defender and Sarabia actually sounds not bad. I don't mind that for a bench boost. And if you got to this point, you still think that's fine, then okay, Game Week 34 bench boost might still be for you. But here is the problem. If you've already used your wildcard to set up a bench boost in Game Week 34, when we move into Game Week 35, you're going to look at your team and you're going to go, I have a load of Crystal Palace, Everton, Wolves players, Bournemouth players. I don't want any of these for the remaining 4 game weeks, because none of them have double game weeks, and I now need to get triple Spurs and triple Chelsea, because triple Spurs and triple Chelsea play a double-double. You can't invest in Chelsea and Spurs players before you play your Game Week 34 bench boost, because Spurs blank in 34, so you can't invest in them prior to Game Week 34 or in Game Week 34. Chelsea play against Arsenal, and that is away from home as well. And that is not the kind of player you want to bench boost. So you are going to have to go in from bench boosting in 34 with no wild card into game week 35 with no Spurs players and no Chelsea players when both Spurs and Chelsea are about to have back-to-back double game weeks. Where you desperately need that triple up on each team, and you've got 0 from each team. Now, how do you resolve that? You take a whole bunch of hits, maybe? Possibly. I don't know. You can maybe just go into the double-double with just like 2 or 3 Chelsea and Spurs players. I mean, you're still going to take hits even to get to 2 or 3 Chelsea and Spurs players. But fine, maybe you do that. But even after you've done that, you get to game week 37, and now you're looking to get double game week players for game week 37. Well, now all you have is your Chelsea and your Spurs players, of which you only have 2 or 3. And you've already taken a whole bunch of hits even to get there. So, if you bench boost, basically what I'm saying is if you bench boost in game week 34, you've basically given up for the rest of the season if you wildcard into a bench boost in game week 34, because it is so difficult to transition from 15 double game week players in game week 34 for the bench boost and moving to the game week 35, 36, 37 double game weeks. I really do hope that makes sense. I really do hope that makes sense. Because, I need to update the ticker, good point. Yeah, I hope that makes sense, because I know a lot of people have asked about kind of why we're not talking about game week 34 bench boost. It is going to be viable for some people. If you, for example, if you don't need to wildcard now, and you can actually save your wildcard for game week 35, and you can somehow manage to claw together 15 double game week players for game week 34 without using your wild card. And some of you might be pretty close, to be fair. Might only take a hit or two to get there. If that's the case, and you can bench boost in 34 without having to play a wild card, then it is viable and it works, because you can quickly use that game week 34 to 35 transition by using the wild card. But if not, if you have to use a wild card now, or you don't have a wild card, you are, like I say, you are just, you're just walking yourself into a trap. There we are. There we go. That was a long, chat, but I think it's an important question. We do have a super chat from Reese. It was probably like 5 minutes ago. Reese44 says, is it worth wildcarding for Salah? It's not worth wildcarding for Salah alone, but if you're also wildcarding for, maybe Palmer, Son, who else? Some big picks at the moment. If you can set yourself up for game week 37, assuming you've got a free hit as well. I think your wildcard has to be a part of your strategy. I think at this point I wouldn't be wildcarding just to bring in the players I want to bring in. It would be, using it as part of a wider strategy, personally, which is what I will be doing. Like, I've taken a -4 this week because I knew I wanted Salah, so I took a -4, just got Salah in, and that means that I don't need to use a wildcard. If you can take a -4 rather than use a wildcard, I think that's far more preferable at this point. Because I think that transition between game week 34 and 35, you can only navigate that with either a wildcard or a free hit. If you've already played your free hit, I would really be trying not to wildcard this week. I think you need at least one of those chips to take between game week 34 and 35 for that transition. Masood says, is transferring Haaland out game week 31 to open funds for Salah, also 31, worth the move before wildcarding in 34? Why would you wildcard in 34? Do you mean wildcarding? I hope you mean wildcard in 35. I mean, yeah, but if you're gonna transfer out Haaland, then maybe do it now. You could potentially do it now instead, because he plays against Arsenal. I mean, if I'm totally honest, from game week 31, I think I slightly prefer Haaland to Salah anyway. If for 31 to 33. The 34, obviously, you prefer Salah. But Haaland is against Aston Villa, Palace, Luton, and we've got Salah against Sheffield United, Man United, Crystal Palace in that run. So if you say Sheffield United and Luton are, similar kind of in terms of fixture difficulty, the only difference there is Aston Villa at home versus Manchester United away. So I do think I slightly do prefer Haaland for that 31 to 33 period. Now I prefer Salah from 30 to 34. In a 5 game week period, I prefer Salah. But if we're just talking about after this game week, I don't actually think it's worth it necessarily. Linus says, hey Dan, good to see you back. Good to be back, Linus. Aaron says, how dare life get in the way? I'm still following your wildcard plans from weeks ago. No adjustments from current form, etc. as I haven't kept up for 2 weeks. It's hard to keep up when we have these international breaks, to be fair. Masood says, Dan, how do you feel for a Haaland transfer out? Oh, wait. Oh, you already said that. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I'll do it next week. I'd think about doing it this week, but not next week. Frederick says, if you have free hit 34, then wildcard 33 is basically the same as wildcard 35. Is it? But if you have a free hit, and you probably need to wildcard now, right? I see what you're saying, to be fair, because all of the teams who have good fixtures in 33 also have good fixtures after 34. But then, to be fair, you could say that, like, now. Like, Newcastle, Man City, Spurs, Chelsea, these teams all have good fixtures now, and would be the same players you'd be wildcarding in Game Week 35 anyway. So you may as well play your wildcard now, I think. Mark says, bench so foul or Doughty? I don't think there's a right answer there. So foul away against Newcastle, Doughty away against Spurs. I guess you play so foul, but it's not too much. Daz Alton says, morning Dan, good to have FPL back. Are you doing FPL challenge? I haven't made an FPL challenge team. Shall I make one? Shall I make one on stream? Or does anyone even care? I don't know. We'll talk about that in a second. Rob, thank you very much for the super sticker. I'm not sure if you meant to attach a message there, but there was no message. Super chat from here for FPL says, wildcard 30, free hit 34. I do want Richarlison, but unsure on Mins this week. Means sacrificing Darwin / Isak for Muniz, but having both Richie and Foden from Game Week 35, mind-blowing. Yeah, I really like Richarlison as a pick. I think he's being criminally overlooked, actually, by a lot of people because of that injury doubt. But and Postecoglou has literally said Richarlison is available. So fair enough. Worry about the minutes a little bit, but I mean it's not a death sentence for him. There's a good chance he does start. I would strongly consider Richarlison this week if on a wild card. Akshan says bench 1, Saka, Foden and Gordon. Probably. Well, not Gordon. I wouldn't bench Gordon. It'd be between Saka and Foden. The bias in me says bench Foden, but actually, I mean, it depends. Who do you think's going to win? If the thing is, if you think Arsenal are going to score 1 goal, Saka is probably going to be involved. If you don't think Arsenal are going to score, then you probably play Foden and bench Saka. It's a tough one. It's a coin toss situation, I think, between those two. Matt says KDB to Salah, Watkins to Darwin, or Van Dijk for a 5.1 defender for funds. I mean, if you're not free hitting in 34, I would be holding on to Van Dijk if possible. So I'd do the Watkins to Darwin move. Yeah, Matt. KDB to Salah and Watkins to Darwin. Unless you're free hitting in 34, in which case you don't need all these Liverpool players. It's nice to have a few, but you don't need all of them. All right. Rob with the super chat here. This one has actually worked. Thank you, Rob. Says wildcard this week and free hit 34. Looking to have Foden over Saka on the team for this week and then transfer Saka in for Foden for week 31 and bring back Foden for Madison. No, I don't like it. I'm sorry, Rob. I don't like it. Yeah, is Foden... You're saying you're going to go with Foden this week and then transfer him for Saka next week. But is Foden that much better than Saka this week anyway. I mean, I was just talking about Saka versus Foden, who to play this game week, being a bit of a coin toss situation. So you might as well save yourself a transfer and just play Saka. Is Foden really, Foden against the best defence in the Premier League, is that so much better than Saka against the second best defence in the Premier League? I don't think it is. Even if Foden is playing at home, there's not enough of a difference there. So I would just, if you are planning on doing Foden to Saka next game week anyway, just go with Saka this week, I think. And then, if you want to bring Foden back in a few weeks for someone else, whether it be Saka or for Maddison, then yeah, that's absolutely fine as well. Saka to Foden potentially works. I don't think I'd do Foden in for Maddison because you want Maddison longer term. So I think I would start with Saka, and then in game week 33, I would move Saka to Foden for Foden's fixture against Luton Town, where Arsenal play against Aston Villa that game week. Or you could potentially do it the week prior to that. You could do it in game week 32. That way you have Saka against Luton, and then you have Foden against Crystal Palace, then Luton, then you free hit in 34, you have Saka in your free hit team for Wolves, Chelsea, and then after that, you've still got Foden, you've still got Maddison for the long term in your team for their double game weeks towards the end of the season. There we go, that works. Sorted, easy. Mark says, Saka to Salah worth it, free hit in 34. Oh, it's a really tough one. I don't know. I honestly don't know. I think if you had a straight choice of which player you'd rather have in your team, the answer is Salah. At the same time, you probably do also want Saka for game week 31, but I don't think it's the end of the world not having Saka in your team, particularly if you are free hitting in 34. So I think, yeah, potentially it is worth it. Potentially worth it. Zachariah, yes, we've got the blackcurrant squash. Bang B says he's laughing at people selling Watkins for Darwin. If it frees up the funds to buy Salah, I think it is worth it. Bring back the toin costs. We haven't done a toin cost in a while, have we? We haven't done it in a while. Super chat from Linus says, I know you don't do these, but can you rate my mate's team? Yeah, sure. He's not on social media, but this is Wildcard. All right, Linus. Since you gave a very generous £10 super chat, which is amazing, by the way, thank you so much. Both you and Rob have been very, very generous this stream, and I do appreciate you guys. But anyway, your team is a wildcard team is Petrovic, Raya, Van Dijk, White, Gusto, Udogie, Lascelles, Salah, Son, Saka, Eze, Palmer, Haaland, Darwin, Muniz. It's not too bad. It's not too bad. Yep, it's hitting the right spots. I think one thing is though, I would have Gabriel instead of Ben White. I know Ben White is a bit of the like kind of the hype pick at the moment, but I think Gabriel is still the better pick. Gabriel is significantly cheaper. He still has better attacking threat. Like if you actually look at the numbers for White, yes, he's had a flurry of 2 assists last game, a goal in the game week before. The numbers are they're okay, but they're not really nothing special. 0.26 XA there, 0.05 there, 0.04 XG when he got his goal. You know, in previous game weeks, we're not really seeing anything really too much higher than that. We saw a little bit of some decent numbers against West Ham and Luton, but aside from that, it's not great. It's nothing special. Whereas Gabriel, cheaper, and actually his attacking numbers are just as good, if not better, to be fair. 0.28 XG. You know, if Gabriel scored that chance, or chance or two that he had in game week 28, nobody would be taking White. If White hadn't fluked his way to 2 assists and Gabriel was the one who had scored, nobody would be taking White. Everyone would be taking Gabriel. Everyone. But I just think Gabriel's the better FPL asset, and he's been more consistent. Yeah, he's the one I go for. There. Aside from that, the team looks good, though. It looks strong. I like it. And probably covers you for both double game weeks as best as you can, which I know is difficult. I know it is difficult. If you don't have a free hit and you need to wildcard now. Ahmad says, start Dubravka or Areola. I would start Dubravka. And Bowen or Foden, benching headache. I think I'll play Bowen this week. It's a nice fixture for Newcastle, for West Ham against Newcastle, to be fair. I know that means playing your players against each other, but Dubravka has the better fixture from a defensive point of view, and Foden and Bowen has the better fixture from an attacking point of view. So you just you hedge your bets a little bit there, I guess, but that's the way I'd do it. Edward says, who scores more in the next 3 games, Darwin or Saka? 3 games. I think the one thing that potentially draws me towards Saka is that I don't know for sure if Darwin plays every game in the next 3. But he potentially does. I think per minute played, the answer is Darwin. I think, yeah, pound for pound, Darwin is probably the better pick over the next 3 game weeks, particularly as Darwin is a lot cheaper than Saka as well now. You know what? Let's say Darwin. Darwin scores more points than Saka over the next 3. Oh, does he? Yeah, he does. He does. I'm going to say yes. Blizzard says KDB and Foden for Salah and Gordon. Only 1.4 million in the bank. I guess so. Yeah. Particularly if you're the only problem is not having Foden for 30, 31, 32, 33 scares me a little bit. I think you got to sacrifice someone if you want Salah, I guess. And if Foden's the guy, then Foden's the guy. I was lucky I had Trippier as my cash cow player. I think I'd rather sell Watkins than a Foden if you have him. I think I'd probably slightly prefer to sell Saka than Watkins as well, assuming you're free hitting in 34. If you're not, different situation, I guess. It's tough, man. Everyone's trying to get Salah, and everyone's got to do different things to do that. I mean, to be fair, I don't have Son, so maybe that's a big reason why I don't have this issue. But you can't have them all. And whilst some people will have to sacrifice Foden, some people will have to sacrifice Son, some people will sacrifice Saka, Watkins. Everyone's going to be missing a player, I feel like, over this next period of games, because it's just too difficult to fit them all in, But that's the point of FPL, right? That's the point. Force you to make those decisions, back your players, and hopefully back against players that you don't have as well. Do you think we should do a bench list? I think we can potentially do a bench list. Let's do that. Okay. It's been a while since we streamed. I don't even know where my bench list is. Let's find it. Here it is. The bench list. It's been a while, my dear friend, bench list. It's been a little while. Seems like you guys do have some bench-related queries that we must address. Right. Okay, let's go. Hopefully this is just going to work straight away. Yes. Brilliant. Okay. Guys, are we familiar with the bench list? Are we familiar with the bench list? If we are, great. But if we're not, basically what we're going to do is we're going to throw a bunch of players on our screen and order them by who is the player you should probably play and who you should bench. So, for example, if we have, let's think of 2 players that a lot of people have. If people have a Bowen and a Saka, we put Bowen and Saka on the bench list because Bowen is higher than Saka. If you have these 2 players, the priority player to play is Bowen. We throw in Foden here. Although, to be honest, I think I'm slightly edging towards Saka over Foden this game week, to be honest. If we have Foden and Gabriel here and Tony maybe here. Although probably Tony will probably go like here. And then Richarlison, I would probably just about back. A little bit of a risk with Richarlison, but I would back him. Yeah, basically, if you have players that are listed on the bench list, you should be prioritising the players who are higher rather than lower in your starting 11. Hopefully that makes sense. And yeah, we'll just add a whole bunch of players that you guys want me to add. by looking at the chat. You guys already know how this works because you're already sending in suggestions for players who should be going on the bench list. Douglas Luiz. Okay, Douglas Luiz. I need to remember who Aston Villa play against. That's Wolves at home. It's at home, right? Wolves at home, Douglas Luiz. Douglas Luiz does bang at home, to be fair. Would I honestly prefer him to Saka and Foden? Defensive midfielder on set pieces. I'm not happy about putting him there, but I will. Muniz goes straight to the top of this list. Garnacho goes like here. Gusto would go... You know what, to be fair, Gusto probably goes up here, pretty high for a defender, above some of the midfielders. Ake wouldn't particularly be looking to play. Here for FPL is put in this super chat. Wildcard 30, free hit 34. And then what is... I'm not really sure I understand the rest of this message. 4.3 defender, Foden... Oh, right, 4.3 million defender and Foden or Darwin. Oh, wait, right, I need to understand this. Okay, so here for FPL, this is your question. Should you take a 4.3 million defender, Foden and Darwin, or Aït-Nouri, Saka and Muniz? If you're free hitting in 34, you don't need Saka. You don't need Saka. I would rather take Foden. I think I'd rather take Darwin than Moon. Oh, would I? Could you do? Do you have to have Darwin? I don't think I'd take Darwin. I think I would take Isak or someone like that. You know, chasing like the upside, a little bit differential there instead. Or you could go Foden and Muniz. And then that way you don't need a 4.3 million defender. You don't need Aït-Nouri either. You're free hitting in 34. So you don't really need Darwin, Aït-Nouri or Saka. You don't need any of those players, really. They're not must-haves. So, yeah, it might be worth revisiting that one and trying to figure out what players you actually need and how you can better prepare for the later double game weeks. If you're free hitting in 34 anyway, you don't need Aït-Nouri. If I was free hitting in game week 34, I don't think I'd be looking to buy Aït-Nouri this week. I'd be going for Gusto straight up. So I guess in that sense, I prefer option 1. Gusto, Foden and Darwin. But even Darwin, I'd be tempted to switch him out for someone else. Anyway, back to the bench list. Hopefully that helps. Oh, no, not back to the bench list. We've got another super chat. Nikhail says, Hi, Dan. David Fofana saved my game week with my free hit in 29. It was a decent game week. Wildcard active in 30. Needed a break. My life sucks at the moment. No one can help. Don't say that, man. Don't say that, man. There's always people who can help. You just have to have the courage to reach out. And, you know, I'm sure a lot of people in this chat have been in similar situations where it feels like nothing is going right and things are not going great. And you say, my life sucks at the moment. But the key words you've said there is, my life sucks at the moment, which gives me the impression, my friend, that you do see a light at the end of the tunnel. I think that's good. And if life sucks at the moment, but things are going to get better, then maybe you have the help you need, whether that's for other people or within yourself. Because, yeah, things will get better. And they do. And they will. And you tell, and I've been there, my friend. Honestly, believe me, I've been there. You tell yourself things won't get better, nothing can change. And then it does. And then you look back at times like this and you say, what was I thinking? I wish I'd known that things would get better. It would be so much easier to have been in that situation if I'd known things would be able to get better. And they will. And I can't say any more than that. I wish I could, you know, speak more on that. But look, honestly, I promise you, man, things will get better. Please do not feel too down. Play some FPL, you know, distract yourself. If there's things going on in your life, distract yourself, enjoy yourself, be kind to yourself. It's all good, my friend. All right, we need to get back on this bench list. And people are saying Gordon. Yeah, okay, we can throw Gordon in here. So I think he'd go pretty high. I don't think I play him over Muniz, but you go like here. Emery says Ake or Gabriel, Foden or Saka. Pick one, please. To start, I would say Gabriel and Saka, but then I'm an Arsenal fan, so. If you're talking about players on a wild card or what transfers you're making, then yeah, it's going to be more chip. It's going to be more chip strategy, to be honest. It's going to depend on that. It's going to depend on that a lot. Right. Who is the next popular player that you guys are wanting for the bench list? Zabani. He's got to go in. He's got to go in here. I play Zabani over the likes of Gabriel. Super chat from Mr. MCK or Mr. McKay, not sure. Sell Morris for Muniz for a -4 and bench Tony, or play Watkins and Tony instead. I think you're fine to play Watkins and Tony this week. I think you're absolutely fine to play those guys this week. But like we mentioned before, you say you're planning on free hit 34 and wild curve 35. If you're free hitting Game Week 34, a lot of the players that have good fixtures now also are the same players you'd be picking on your wild card in 35 anyway. So in many ways, if you're planning a free hit in 34 and you have a wild card as well, you may as well get that wild card out earlier, whether that's this game week or 31, 32, 33. Yeah, I think I'd get it out a little bit earlier than 35. Gives that extra week of transfers as well. Right, moving on. Vargas is part of the show team gang. Welcome, Vargas, to the show team gang. Legends show team gang. We've seen a few of you today. Ait Nori. Yeah, the thing is, Ait Nori, yes, you were probably expecting him to concede, but he's going to be playing as a winger this game week. He's going to be playing as a full-blown attacker this game week, we suspect, which makes him a really interesting pick. I'd certainly be looking to start him ahead of some of these other defenders. I think Gusto perhaps pips him for the best defender of these players, but he's up there. Right, Watkins and Solanke on the bench list. Watkins, a good player to start. I think Watkins goes all the way up here. Solanke against Everton. Maybe somewhere around here, I think. Somewhere around there. Doughty and Saliba. We'll add in Saliba probably at the bottom, to be fair. Least attacking threat of those three guys at the bottom. We'll put Doughty in... I think I put Doughty even lower, to be fair. Nicole says, it is fine, Dan. Thank you so much for that. Good man. Yeah, my absolute pleasure, mate. Honestly, we've all been there. I'll guarantee you, there's countless people in this chat who may be dealing with similar things to you, and you'll never even realise it. You're not alone. You're really not alone. I promise you. Livramento and Lascelles, they're a bit niche. Masood wants the blackcurrant squash. I will give him. Start Baldock over Gabriel/Ake. I don't think so. Baldock's not guaranteed to start either. He picked up an issue over the international break. He's going to be a late assessment anyway. So we'll see. Any team news? I haven't actually checked. Probably should check. I guess we're still a little while off deadline. But let's have a little look. I need to make sure my team is set up for this game week as well, because I haven't looked at my team really at all this game week. All right, let's check to see if we've got any leaks. Okay, well, I've not seen any leaks. I've seen a couple of people predicting Richarlison to be benched, though. Which is interesting. Which I think is more interesting for the Son captaincy kind of dilemma. Yeah, don't know. Salah will play while fasting. Yeah. Like all players who, Muslim players will play whilst fasting. Happens every year. And people make a big deal about it, saying, fasting is going to really impact the players' performances. But I don't think there's really too much data to back that up. It's just something we seem to end up talking about in the FPL world every year. When we're looking at picking players who or of Islam beliefs, we suddenly talk about them being somehow worse FPL assets whilst fasting. I don't think there's much evidence to suggest that. I've had this conversation enough times by now. I'm a bit bored of it, to be honest. One day everyone will be. All right, let's continue on. Raya, we put him on the bench list. I don't think I'd be looking to start Raya, to be honest. But, I mean, when we're comparing to Dubravka and Areola, it's not great, is it? We put Maddison and Saka. To be fair, we do need... No, we've got Saka. We need to put maybe Maddison on the bench list. A lot of people own him. I would play Maddison pretty high. Maybe up here. The only reason Richarlison is so low is because I'm not 100% sure if he's going to start. Kelleher is an absolute star out of these goalkeepers. Absolutely. There's not many goalkeepers. I feel like Vicario, worse than him. I'd only probably put Petrovic higher than him. And maybe Leno against Sheffield United. Maybe. I guess something like that. Taylor and Lascelles. Charlie Taylor and Burnley. You know what's weird? I know we're targeting Burnley with Palmer this week, but Burnley have actually improved their defensive numbers a little bit. But they just can't score, can they? Right, let's put in Taylor. Oh, he's not going to be high. I mean, to be honest, at least Doughty has the attacking threat. Taylor has a little bit of that, but not really. A doggy would be higher than all of these guys. I'd probably put a doggy probably below Ait-Nouri, just because Ait-Nouri would be playing as an attacker, which is just a cheat code, really. Neto. Are we talking Neto, the goalkeeper? Neto is so hard this week. At home against Everton, it's a really nice fixture. He'd be somewhere around Kelleher. I'm not sure who I'd prefer to start, Kelleher or Neto. I think it's just about Kelleher. But Neto's a great goalkeeper for this game week as well. Great goalkeeper. Could you put Gabriel on the bench? He's already on. Munoz or Udogie? It depends on your plan. Udogie's great for the late season if you are free hitting in 34. Munoz is great for those not free hitting in 34, particularly if you're wildcarding in 35. Is Muniz a captain option? I think he is maybe the fourth choice. After Salah, Son, Palmer, it potentially then goes Muniz. Potentially. Or Haaland against Arsenal. It's just a terrible fixture, isn't it? So I think Muniz is probably the fourth best captain option. But why go for the fourth best captain option when you've got the first, second, and third best captain options to pick from? And I'm assuming you have at least one of Salah, Son, or Palmer. And if you want to go differential, I think go for Palmer. If you want to be differential. If you just want to be ultra different, or you have a real big faith in Muniz, which if you did, you perhaps wouldn't be asking the question, then go for it. But it does seem like there's better options. Can I add Munoz from Palace? Yes. Gotta differentiate between Muniz and Munoz. Muniz and Munoz have both been obscure players to now FPL hype picks within the space of a couple of weeks. Muniz and Munoz. So Munoz is playing against Nottingham Forest this game week, I believe, away from home. So we can throw him in maybe above Ait-Nouri. I don't know. He's somewhere around here. Lascelles. A lot of people do own Lascelles, to be fair. Would I just about play Lascelles above a Gabriel? I think I would. Just about. I prefer Zabani, though. Why Salah over Palmer? What, for captaincy? I think he's good. Salah is Salah. Bit of a FPL legend. Don't know. I didn't think that was that controversial, to be honest. Saka to Palmer for a hit. No, maybe not for a hit. Maybe not for a hit. Morris. I mean, to be fair, you could potentially play Morris. Spurs, like, they are not the best defence in the league. He would be, like, around the Garnacho level, right? Kind of those cheap assets who, ideally, you don't play every week, but if you have to, you have to. Particularly in the week when, like, Arsenal versus Man City, you do have to go to your bench and pick some of those players. Why Solanke above Tony? Because I think Solanke probably has the slightly easier fixture, the home fixture, and he's got better underlying numbers. There's been, like, a corner of the FPL world who have been really hyping up Tony recently. And you know who it is? It's those people who bought him last game week and saw his one-pointer. And are now hyping him up for the long term. Like, I free-hitted in Tony last week. I thought he was, a decent pick. But, I mean, people now saying that Tony's being overlooked. No one's buying him, though. I don't think they are, anyway. Let's have a look. No one's buying Tony. It's just people having him, like, left over from that tragic game week 29. Yeah, 18,000 people are bringing in Tony this week. From game week 29, he was a great pick because you get to cover that difficult game week 29 with what should have been an easy fixture where he should have got points. But buying him from game week 30 is just not the same. No double game weeks. Man United, Brighton, Aston Villa aren't particularly good fixtures. Fair enough, Sheffield United at home after that. But even that Luton game, like you'd rather have double game week players for game week 34 anyway. And you're not going to pick him in that last period of games because, again, no double game weeks. So, yeah, I don't know where this Tony hype's come from. I keep seeing it on Twitter. People are overlooking Tony. Tony's going to bang. Is he? Is he really better than any other forward that we're talking about right now? Is he really better than a Muniz, a Darwin, a Haaland, an Isak, a Solanke, a Højlund, a Jackson, a Watkins, a Semenyo, a Wood? Maybe a Wood. But aside from that, even a Cunha. I prefer a Cunha. I even prefer to go Cunha. David says, never thought I'd ask this, but Foden or Semenyo. I wouldn't be too reliant on a player like Semenyo. Like, his numbers typically are not that great. The last three games, in fairness, have been decent numbers, but the fixtures were so good. I wonder if that's inflated it a little bit. Burnley, Sheffield United, and Luton all in a row is quite something as a fixture run. Previous to that, you can see his numbers are not great. I think Ben White's got a similar amount of XG and XA per game. But yeah, let's throw him in on the bench list regardless. I do know some people have him. I think you probably play him a bit ahead of your defenders if you have the option, but I don't know if I would back him ahead of Saka and Foden. Remember, Saka and Foden are just brilliant players and have the capability of scoring FPL points in any given game week. Here from FPL is saying revisiting that wild card. Petrovic, Raya, nice. Udogi, Aït-Nouri, Bradley, Lascelles, Gusto, pretty decent. Salah, Saka, Son, Richarlison, Palmer, Haaland, Isak, Muniz. Looks reasonably good to me. Although, didn't you say earlier that you're free hitting in 34? I can't remember. If you're free hitting in 34, then actually this team probably has a couple of holes, mostly in the shape of a Bradley. I don't think I'd take Bradley or Raya if I'm free hitting in 34. I'd downgrade Raya and I'll probably upgrade Bradley, to be fair. Although Bradley's okay for the next 2 game weeks, but then Or is he? I don't even think he's guaranteed to be good for the next 2 game weeks. I think Robertson's injury has perhaps helped his chances of game time because Gomez perhaps go on the left rather than Tsimikas. All right, yeah, maybe Bradley isn't okay for like a 2 game week punt. Maybe look to remove him after that. But yeah, I don't think I'd take Rayo on a wild card if I was free hitting in 34. That's the only thing I would change. The rest of it looks pretty decent. Pretty decent. I like it. Pretty standard. Let's go for... who should we put on the bench list next? There's a lot of obscure differential players that I can see you guys suggesting, which I don't really know if I want to put on the bench list, to be perfectly honest. Oh, are you going to do an FPL challenge team after the 11 a.m. because of the long deadline? That's a good point. I can just do it after 11 a.m, can't I? Yeah. I'll tell you what, that's what we'll do. After the deadline passes and we're waiting for the team news / lineups, we'll do my FPL challenge team, and I'll talk a little bit about it as well, my thoughts on it and stuff, because we may as well. Right, people really want Bradley on the bench list. Fine, let's put Bradley on the bench list. I would play Bradley for the record, probably above most other defenders. I think you guys probably already knew that, but if you didn't, we'll put him on there. Flecken, ooh. Flecken is playing... Is it away against Man United or at home? It's away. Home. Maybe here? I don't know. I'm not fully comfortable with that. Here? Maybe there. It wouldn't be high. It wouldn't be very high. Morning, Richard. We don't have any team news. No, unfortunately. I was hoping to... I don't know. I was half hoping to get something with regards to Richarlison, to be honest. I think that would have been the most interesting thing we could get. But... yeah, given that that fixture's not until 3. The early game's Newcastle versus West Ham. And we haven't really got... Well, there's not really too many leakers from Newcastle and West Ham. Occasionally you get something. I think a few Newcastle leakers recently have kind of been proven to be chancers, guessers. Proves how easy it is to predict Newcastle's team, though. There we go. Particularly when they've got injuries. Bench Trippier or not? Let's put Trippier on the bench list. I don't think I'd bench him necessarily. We'll put him around here. We've got the fake FPL Harry in the chat, which reminds me to hide this user on the channel permanently. Sorry, fake FPL Harry. Harry already warned me about you. Already was warned, pre-warned. Right, Elanga on the bench list. He would go like somewhere in the middle here. I'm not going to put him on because I do want to try and find some early team news if we can. Because we've only got a few minutes left. And I probably should have a look at my team. You sound bored, bro. I'm not that bored. Yeah, well, to be fair, there's only so much you can talk about, like Elanga. And also, I was trying to look for some try and find some team leaks and stuff for you guys. Right, I think we're done for the bench list, pretty much. I think we're pretty much done. I need to make sure my own team is set. The show team gang emojis have come out to play. It's that time, isn't it? It's that time. Nicole is another super chat. Says my wildcard team currently 220k. Petrovic, Onana, Gusto, Bradley, Porro, Lascelles, Gabriel, Salah, Son, Palmer, Garnacho, Foden, Haaland, Muniz, Darwin. So, you used your free hit last week, right, Mikhail? So the only thing I mean, I guess it's too late now, but I mean, the only maybe things that you could potentially change is maybe try and get some players who double in 34. Because it doesn't really seem like you've got too many Gameweek 34 doublers there. And you've got likes of Porro who blanks in 34 as well. So if you've already used your wild card, I would reconsider some of those picks. Just try and get a couple of, triple Liverpool, triple Arsenal, and maybe one Wolves player or one Crystal Palace player or one Everton player, something like that would work. Show Team Gang are so here. They are so here. We love it. We love the Show Team Gang. You guys make me. Right, should we end the captain poll? The final results on the captain poll, by the way, and there's thousands of votes on this, which is crazy. 4.7 thousand votes. Is Salah 49%, Son 37%, Palmer 9%, and other 2%. So, yeah, a real... in the end, because I think at the start of the poll, it was like all about Salah. But that's tightened up a little bit. Salah's still the most popular captain pick for the week. But Son's there. Son is there. He's chilling out in the big leagues. Salah is under 50% captaincy. And he may well be under 50% owned this game week as well. Because he is a struggle to get in. Wonder what the numbers are for transfers in this week for Salah. Almost 1 million people have transferred in Salah. That is crazy. Oh, I didn't even have it on screen. I'll show you in a sec. But there we go, guys. The FPL deadline is passed. It's done. I'm playing two Man City players versus 2 Arsenal players, which is I don't know how that's going to go. We'll see. Yeah, I think my team is like outside of those Arsenal and Man City players for this week. I think my team looks strong. I think after this game week, having those Man City and Arsenal players are going to be a nice advantage. So yeah, happy with it. Happy to see where it goes. But guys, we're locked in. What can be Son's EO around 100k? Probably around 100%. Son EO. I think Salah probably more like 80% EO. Potentially. Or am I understating that? Son, to be fair, could easily go above 100% EO at the top ranks this week. Because everyone owns him, don't they? Everyone has him. And a lot of those people will be captaining him as well. To be fair, we could see Son up to like 140% EO. Right. Shall we have a look at this FPL challenge malarkey? I don't even know what website I'm going on here. Here we go. FPL challenge. Let's create a team. I literally, you guys can see, this is not me trying to be edgy or whatever. I literally haven't even looked at this yet. I'm not that interested. But we'll give it a go for a bit of fun whilst we're waiting. Team name. I don't know. We'll choose Arsenal as our favourite club. What should we call? Any suggestions for a team name for my challenge team? Daniel Green says no Spurs against Luton. Dan, I just don't have any Spurs players, and I'm not bringing them in just for the one game week. I mean, I could do like some kind of weird hokey cokey, but I'm just going to set up for game week 34 bench boost now. Right, we need suggestions. We need team name suggestions. Ones that are preferably are not rude. Dan the Man, Nori FC, Team Dan. We can think of a pun or something. What rhymes with Dan? What rhymes with mate? FPL Troll is saying FPL Mate you lemon. Thank you. Teammate. Oh, that kind of works. Show Team Gang is my normal FPL team. Maybe we should just keep it with show team gang. Maybe we could do hashtag show team gang. How do you do hashtag? There you go. Hashtag show team gang. Let's create the team. Blackcurrant squad. That's pretty good, actually. That's actually pretty good. I kind of like that. The blackcurrant squad. Uncan cucumber. Oh, yeah. I cannot. By the way, I cannot wait for the summer to do the FPL Team Name World Cup again. Mate Nori. That's pretty funny as well. I think we're going to go Blackcurrant Squad. That one's made me laugh the most. Okay, so we've got unlimited budget. I mean, we haven't got unlimited budget. We've got 999.9 million budget. So I've already been scammed. Already been scammed this game week because, look, managers receive an unlimited budget. 99999.9. Now, if I pick a player and that budget goes down, then I've officially been scammed. So, when I put Muniz in, which I am going to do, like, pretty sure, the budget has gone down. So I've been lied to. I've been scammed. I've been scammed already. I can't believe that. Unbelievable. I'm going to take a screenshot and complain to official FPL because that is completely unbelievable. Unlimited budget. Huh. Lied to. Let's, I don't know, where should I capture? Capture image. Let's download that and we'll tweet that later. Anyway, so first of all, we know we don't have unlimited budget. But we'll put a Muniz in. Right, who else? Actually, okay, whilst we're picking a team, let's talk about FPL Challenge. I'll be interested to get some of your thoughts on this as well. And I know people are going to say, oh, Dan, you're just salty because FPL didn't invite you to promote this game. But, I mean, to be fair, the fact that the Premier League didn't include me in promoting this game, to be fair, allows me to in a way, to speak more openly and honestly about how I feel about the game. And to be honest, I think it had the potential to be a bit of fun, but that potential is perhaps a little bit, you know, maybe I think they haven't got it quite right, is what I'm trying to say here. I think a big issue that this game has is, even though it's kind of being marketed as a little bit of fun on the side, just a little, you know, a fun like mini game you can play for one game week if you want to, you can play for whatever. What we've since seen is that there are so many loopholes, there's so much micromanagement that needs to be done within the game week. I mean, we're talking about in-play subs, captaincy switches. There's like little workarounds and you know, little weird strategies you can use to kind of cheat your way to points in a way. There's so many little loopholes and things and ways you can play the game where actually, even though this is billed as a fun side game, it's actually so much more complicated to play. And not only does it require a lot of micromanagement, the people who win are going to be the people who just use all of these loopholes that have been discovered over the last few days. Those are going to be the people who spend loads of time micromanaging their team over the weekend and using those loopholes. And then the following week, the rules change again. So not only do we have to go in and make an entire brand new team from scratch again, we now also have to see what the new rules are and figure out what the best team is based on these new set of rules that come in each week. And then after we've selected a whole new team based on a whole new set of rules that we have to refigure everything out for again, we then have to spend the whole weekend using these weird strategies and micromanaging if you actually want any chance of winning in it. So, what is it? Is this game a simple side fun game, or is it a super, super complicated game that requires a whole lot of thinking every single game week? You've got to think about your whole team from scratch. And how do you engage people long-term on a game like this as well? I don't know. Because there's no season-long mini-leagues or anything like that. It's one game week only. How do you get people to come back? How do you encourage people to keep coming back and playing again and again? People are going to get bored of this game so fast. And I cannot see it, in its current form at least, sticking around beyond this season. It's got to change. Overtino says they should have done it as 5-a-side or something. Seems like it'll be too much effort. Absolutely, that would have worked. 5-a-side would have worked. Kyle's World says if you can't watch the games live, you're screwed anyway. For example, if you live in Australia. Yep, that's very, very true. Yeah, because there's micromanagement. You need to be around for when the team sheets come out and stuff like that. If you're in a different time zone or if you're a busy person, then you're going to get screwed over by that. It's so hot. This game is genuinely super complicated. And I don't mind the super complicatedness of it. I would prefer there'd be no loopholes, because there are. And I think maybe the Premier League should have. I know we're technically in beta testing now, but I feel like that maybe should have come out in alpha testing, and it didn't take. It took a few hours for people to find the loopholes. But yeah, if you are going to make a game this complicated, it doesn't work as a side game, and it doesn't work if you can't get people to keep coming back and, you know, provide some kind of incentive for people to keep coming back. Now they've got kind of their prizes as the incentives, and the prizes are slightly better than the main game, which I find again strange. Like, the main game is kind of been neglected and not touched, and then we've got this mishmash of different ideas for this side game that's created a camel built, you know, a horse built by committee is a camel, and now what we see is a mishmash of all these different ideas, and I think it's just made a game that is too complicated and doesn't really work as a side game. Mark says just chill and have fun and see how it develops. Absolutely, but it can't develop if we don't give feedback. If we all just say, okay, well, let's just play it, and we won't comment on it, we won't talk about it, then the game can't develop. So it's important we do talk about it, I think. Particularly as, like, you know, as voices in the FPL community. I mean, we're us guys, we're the FPL nerds, we're the FPL geeks, we are the well, I mean, I don't think we are. In a way, I don't think we are the target audience for this game. But at the same time, I don't know. Kabalash says, it's called FPL Challenge, so I'm assuming it's meant to be complicated. No, they're marketing it as a fun mini-game for, you know, more casual players to drop in and play for one game week as a bit of fun. They're kind of marketing as that, but it's actually really complicated. Ironically, someone else here has said it's not that complicated. Just pick who you think has the highest score. No, it is far more complicated than that. And that's what I am going to do, by the way. But if you actually want, you know, if you want to really play this game optimally and try and win it, I guess, it is far more complicated than that. Anyway, I need to keep picking players. We'll go Palmer. We're going to go Gusto. To be fair, I don't actually know if I am going to go Nicholas Jackson. Let's remove him for now. And we'll pick someone else. So I guess we put Salah in, because, you know, we've got unlimited budget. We may as well. Imagine, right, a limited budget the week that no one wants Man City players. Pointless game week to do unlimited budget. I honestly, I think you can easily build it. I bet the team I end up building here costs less than 100 million. It's the most pointless week to include unlimited budget. Pavel says, will you create a mini league for challenge? I will if you guys want me to. But I'm not that arsed about this. Samuel says, why has a new format been introduced? I wonder if it is just to kind of hook people back into FPL. You know, if they can create hype around a new game, then maybe that will encourage people to log back into their FPL accounts and start playing the game normally. Because I think quite a lot of people have stopped playing FPL this year. But that's their own fault because they haven't developed the game. And I said this like before last summer, about a year ago probably, and I kind of was saying, yeah, this is the year this game, they need to develop the game, they need to move it forward, they need to freshen things up a little bit because people are going to start losing interest. And I think unfortunately we have seen that a little bit this season. Player numbers is slightly down this year. We are seeing a big drop off of more and more inactive accounts this season as the season develops, which happens every year, but it's happening to quite a big degree this year. And I wonder if they've put this FPL challenge thing out to try and hook people back in a way. I don't know. Emily says a mine cost under 100 million, so it wasn't worth the unlimited budget. Oh, yeah. Bilbo says I wouldn't mind Euro 2024 FPL version. There'll be Euro Fantasy, and we will be playing Euro Fantasy. Euro Fantasy is a bit like FPL Challenge, to be fair. That it's got like that in-play aspect and some strategies and some tactics you can use. But it's week on week rather. You play for the whole duration of the tournament, and for a short tournament, but you're more hooked in, which I think works in a short tournament. Sort of 7 game weeks, I think it is. 7 match days in Euro Fantasy. 3 group stage, round of 16, quarters, semis, final / third place playoff. Yeah, 7 rounds. 7 intense rounds, Euro Fantasy. It's really good. They should do a women's fantasy league. They do WSL fantasy. I'm pretty sure they do WSL fantasy. Wouldn't you fill the rest of the team with Fulham players? Yeah, I guess we go for a Fulham defender, right? Should we go Robinson? I swear everyone's going to have the same team, though. So obvious. Who else do we want? Who has the best fixture this game week? Probably I don't know. I feel like I've got to throw in a differential here. I mean, I'm not going to take this game too seriously, so we may as well have a little bit of fun with this. Should we go Nori? Even though tough game, but he's going to be playing as an attacker. So I think we maybe go Nori as a bit of a differential. Can't see too many people picking him. What's this star thing? Stars 2. Is that points? Dan is a cheese melt. Thank you for that, FPL troll. Very interesting. Nemanja says, Dan, the biggest FPL disappointment is definitely about 0% transparency and 100% randomness for the rules regarding player price changes. Yeah, I think they just want to retain that right to kind of fiddle with things wherever possible. Right, we need to complete this team. We probably need one more Spurs player. Do we go triple Spurs attack? Is that the play? Is that the differential I'm looking for? Let's go 3-5-2. Maybe go Maddison. Or is everyone doing this anyway? Don't know. Let's go. Maybe Van Dijk. We'll put him on the bench because he plays later on in the game week. We can do the manual sub. It's called Virgil in this, isn't it? This is if I even remember to make changes. I'll perhaps set an alarm on my phone to remind me. Do your challenge team. I'll set an alarm for I don't know, 11 or something. 11 p.m. 2023. Random alarm goes for 11 o'clock. Okay. Remember, it's up to 5 per club too. So you're saying go for another Spurs player, another Chelsea player? Well, I've got options to go for more Chelsea players. I guess we do go for Nicholas Jackson. I'm struggling for forwards a little bit here. We'll put Kelleher as our backup goalkeeper. He plays tomorrow. Wait, no, I don't want you there. I want you there. What have you done? Okay, we need a goalkeeper for today. Neto against Everton. Or Petrovic against Burnley. Maybe Petrovic. Let's try Petrovic. You'll probably forget what your alarm is about. Yeah, probably. All right, where else do I go here? I mean, I feel like I need maybe the last two players to be a little bit differential. Like, who could pop off in the forward position? Isak? How many are people going for Isak or not? I've not really consumed any content, so I don't really know what kind of players people are picking. So forwards for this week. Isak, Solanke. We've already got Nicholas Jackson. Mooney's already got. Chris Wood, is it worth going for him? Probably not. Aston Villa versus Wolves. Watkins. Well, Tony. Darwin. Let's go Isak, I guess. And we'll start him. Can you change your captain in play? How does that work? How does changing your captain work? Can anyone let me know? Whilst I pick my final defender. Who is going to be... do I just go Liverpool? No Liverpool defender. Let me just say. Bradley. Let's go Conor Bradley. I think. Something like that. I mean, I can keep making changes, can't I? Right. So we just need to make sure we put our Liverpool players on the bench. Right. Who has the latest games? Brentford and Man United. We want to make sure the Newcastle players are playing. Right. As long as your captain hasn't played yet, you can change it. So can I captain like someone from the first game? So for example, I captain Isak. And then after that, can I switch it to Son? Is that how it works? Or can I only switch it if my captain hasn't played yet? Make sure your captain plays a later fixture. Pick a strong vice. I really should have read the rules before making this team. I've still got a little while, haven't I? Right, let's just go on the rules page. Let's see if we can figure this out. So, how does captaincy work? So this is what I mean. This is complicated. Yeah. I don't care about any of this. I want to know about the in-play captains. Team management. Okay. You can make an unlimited... Right. From your 15-player squad, you must select 11 players, a captain and a vice-captain. You can make unlimited changes to your starting lineup, captain choice, and squad before and during the game week. But these must be made before a player's club starts their first match of the game week. After this, they will be locked. When a player is locked, you can no longer substitute or transfer them out of your team. You cannot change your captain once they are locked, nor can you captain a locked player. Okay. So basically, I need to captain... Well, captains just work normally. I just need to captain who I think is going to score the most points. So I guess I put the captain's armband on Son. I can't put the vice-captain on Salah because he's on my bench. So basically, I need to start Salah if I want to captain him. So this is another one of those... Right, okay. So put your vice-captain on... This is what I mean. So many loopholes. So actually what I need to do is vice-captain Heung-min Son and start Salah and captain him. And if Son goes off, I'm actually substituting off Salah. This game, man. This game. I already hate this game so much. You know what? I really... This is why I don't want to play. This is too much. I don't want to have to micromanage my team that much. I haven't got this life in me. I'm just going to captain Son and stick with it. Say you pick Haaland as captain and Son as vice captain. If Son gets a hat-trick, transfer out Haaland for an injured player. This is what I mean with the loopholes. It's ridiculous, man. It is absolutely ridiculous. I can't be bothered to do all this. I really can't. For the sake of a one-week game, that the whole game week is going to be forgotten by 6 p.m. Sunday. The whole game week is just gone, forgotten forever. There's no ongoing mini-leagues. What is the point? Loopholes where you're transferring in injured players to get auto subs so you could still get your vice captain in play. It's ridiculous. Ridiculous. I can't be bothered, man. This is my team. I'll make one set of changes. I'll bring in my Liverpool players off the bench if things don't work out. I'm not going to win. I'm not going to win this game week because I'm not using the loopholes. I feel like giving up on this game before it's even kicked off. It's ridiculous. This is so dumb, man. I mean, come on. Am I overreacting here? Tell me if I am. But this seems so stupid. I'll make a league for you guys. And if you guys want to go ham on this game and like you really want to like mega focus and do all your loopholes and stuff, fine. Like, you know, if this is fun for you and you have the time to do it, then absolutely. I don't berate anyone who wants to play this game and go for it. But I don't think it's for me. I don't think it's for me. Right, we've created a league. Should we find a league code so you guys can join it? Let's just use that. Okay. So I'll put the oh, that's just a link. All right, no, I want this league code. If you played Fantasy Euro, then I think this is the same. It's not. It's more complicated with the loopholes. It's more complicated. I would, you know, if you could just play it like Fantasy Euros, that would be great. That's kind of the way I'm looking to play it. But with these injured players, the loophole, man. Jitten says it seems stressed over a game you're not even bothered about. I know, that's why I kind of got to a point where I said I need to stop getting stressed about this game. Because I started bothering about it and then I got stressed. Nigel says technically there are inbuilt exploits, whether intended or not. I mean, yeah. But if they want this game to be successful and they want people to be fair, there's probably a large majority of players who will play this game completely oblivious to the loopholes, who won't even really have to worry about it. Like, they'll be just chilling out playing the game, not knowing about the loopholes and thinking, yeah, this is fun. Maybe the fact that I know about the loopholes is what's making this game stressful. I don't think you can make subs out once a player is played. What? Wait, so it's not like Euro Fantasy in that way. So, wait, sorry. I'm so confused. You can't make in-play subs. Let's reread these rules. You can make unlimited changes before and during the game week, but these must be made before a player's club starts their first match of the game week. After this, they'll be locked. Christ alive. Okay. So you can't make in-play subs unless your player hasn't played yet. Wait, okay, so what about if your player plays and is on the bench? Can you substitute them in? You can't sub out locked players. Can you sub in locked players? You can only substitute them or transfer them out of your team. So what's the point in having a bench then? Oh my god, this is even more complicated than I thought. So you basically have to either play it like it's just a normal FPL game week, or you play the loopholes. So I don't even know what team I should be playing in that case. Play Salah. I guess. We'll play Richarlison, I guess. I really can't be bothered, man. I really, really cannot be asked. Shall I just give up on this one? So I think you need to sub after seeing the starting lineup. So if Richarlison, for example, is starting, then I leave him on. If Richarlison's on the bench, I can switch him for Isak. I guess so. I'm exhausted, man, already. This is not for me. There we go. There's the team. I did make and by the way, guys, didn't even get to 100 million budget. So the unlimited budget thing was pointless as well. Oh. There we go, guys. There's my team. There's my team for FPL Challenge. Oh dear, oh dear. Luke Valentine says this is so bad. I just put in the best team as if it was a free hit. I think that if that was the way the game worked, you basically just a game mode where you just have a free hit every week. You can add your fun little weird challenges each week if you want to. Unlimited budget where you're not even going to spend it every week. Double Man United and Liverpool points or whatever it was. You can add those fun challenges and just have it free hit every week, and you have these fun challenges each week. Great, that works. That works. They screwed it up. But we are in beta testing. And yes, they missed this one when they were alpha testing, but hopefully they pick this up and make that improvement for next season if this game can survive that long, because I really cannot see people engaging with this very much over the longer term. But there we go, guys. We've got a mini league. I will share the code on social media as well if I can be bothered. And we're going to leave that one there because we should be having some team news come in from our Premier League club. So, Newcastle United starting lineup. Ooh. No Trippier in the squad. Not even on the bench. I see. Okay. Anything else interesting? I mean, Lascelles starts. I mean, a lot of people have him. I tell you what, that's me selling Trippier feels like a masterclass. True. No, Barnes is on the bench. So Liverpool's fine, and Barnes is on the bench. So presumably he's fine as well. Trippier is still injured. Does anyone still have Trippier? I'm not really sure if anyone still has him, to be fair. If you do, not great. Let's have a look at West Ham. Areola, Sofal, Zuma, Mavropanos, Emerson. So pretty standard back to the line. And we've got Soucek, Ward-Prowse, Paqueta in midfield, and Kudus, Bowen, and Antonio. Is that the same as their Game Week 29 team? I think it's very similar. Don't know if it's identical, but it is similar. Don't know. But there we go, guys. There, we've got our lineups. We've got the lineups. This is my final team. If you guys missed it earlier, there is my... Wait, I don't even know where my other team is. Here's my other team, if you care. And, yeah, let's play some FPL. Let's play some, normal FPL anyway. Let's play some FPL. It's been a while. It's been a hot minute since we last had some FPL in our lives. So, with that FPL challenge chat out the way. Oh no, Alvarez for West Ham. Yes, of course. With that out the way, I think You know what? I'm ready to get excited. I think the annoying thing is I don't have any Newcastle or West Ham players. So some of you guys, if you've got like a Bowen or a Gordon or someone, or a Lascelles maybe even, you guys get to enjoy FPL already. But I don't know, man. I wanna play some FPL. Actually, wait. I've just realised I need to start Isaac, don't I? I'll do it. I can't be asked. Can't be asked to think about it. Yes, guys. Yeah, you guys get to. Yeah, I need to wait until 3. Well, UK time 3 before I get to not watch because they don't show these games on TV. Solanke and Palmer. I don't have Gusto, do I? Forgot my own team there for a minute. But I tell you what, Aston Villa versus Wolves. That'll be like my Ait Nori versus my Watkins. I'm really curious to see how that plays out. Really curious. So, yeah, I'll definitely enjoy that game at the very least. But, guys, aside from that, thank you so much for watching today and joining in the stream. Thank you for the support on all the content this week, actually. We've got quite a lot of videos out this week, and I'm glad you guys enjoy. Is it a mid-game week for 31? Yes, it is. I was just about to mention this. So, Game Week 31 starts on Tuesday. So, therefore, we are back on the content grind immediately. So we'll be bringing some Game Week 31 content out. Not sure about today. Maybe today, maybe not. Certainly tomorrow and Monday there will be videos out. But we'll try and get at least 3 videos out before the Tuesday deadline. And then we'll be doing a stream on Tuesday, of course. We might go a little bit earlier on the Tuesday stream. We might go 2 hours before deadline as well, because obviously in the evening, and evenings are more friendly to me. But yeah, aside from that, guys, thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you guys over on social media, Twitter, Instagram, whatever, for more chat about the FPL game week that is back. I can't believe it's back. But aside from that, yes, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you later, mates. Bye-bye.